Hello my wonderful friends and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Emma, and I'm 67 years old. Now I want you to take a good look at me today, because what I'm about to share with you changed my life in ways I never thought possible at my age. 6 months ago, I could barely get out of bed without my knees screaming at me. My back ached constantly. I had this persistent brain fog that made me forget why I walked into a room. And honestly, I'd accepted that this was just part of getting older. I thought my best years were behind me, but then I discovered something so simple, so affordable, and so powerful that within just 3 weeks, I noticed changes. Within 3 months, my doctor was shocked at my blood work. And now, 6 months later, I feel better than I did in my 50s. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did, show you the science behind it, and explain how you can try this for yourself. But before we dive in, please do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because I share health tips specifically designed for those of us who are embracing our golden years with vitality and strength. Let me paint you a picture of where I was just 6 months ago. Every morning started the same way. I'd wake up feeling stiff, like my body had turned into a rusty old machine overnight. Getting out of bed was a production. First, I'd have to roll to my side, then push myself up with my arms because my core was so weak. My joints would crack and pop like bubble wrap. Breakfast was I'd gained about 30 pounds over the past decade, and it seemed like no matter what I tried, that weight just wouldn't budge. My clothes didn't fit right. I avoided mirrors. I felt invisible. But the worst part wasn't the physical pain or the extra weight. It was the feeling that my life was shrinking. I was becoming someone who watched life happen instead of participating in it. I was tired of being tired. I was sick of being sick. And I knew that if I didn't change something soon, I'd be facing even more serious health problems down the road. Maybe you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe you're experiencing some of these same struggles right now. If you are, I want you to know that you're not alone, and more importantly, it doesn't have to be this way. So how did I turn things around? It started with a conversation with my friend Margaret at our weekly book club. Margaret is 72, but she moves like she's 50. She's always been active, but about a year ago, I noticed she seemed even more energetic than usual. Her skin was glowing, she'd lost weight, and she told me she'd started hiking with a group every weekend. I finally asked her what her secret was, and she told me about creatine. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When she first said creatine, I thought she was talking about something bodybuilders use. I pictured those huge muscular guys at the gym chugging protein shakes. I didn't think it was for someone like me. But Margaret explained that creatine isn't just for bodybuilders. It's actually one of the most researched supplements in the world, and study after study shows incredible benefits specifically for people over 60. She told me that she'd been taking just 5 grams every single day, and it had transformed her energy levels, reduced her joint pain, and helped her build muscle even though she wasn't lifting heavy weights. I was skeptical, but I was also desperate. So I decided to do my research. I spent hours reading scientific studies, watching videos from doctors and nutritionists, and learning about how creatine actually works in our bodies. What I discovered absolutely amazed me. You see, as we age, our bodies naturally produce less creatine. Creatine is stored in our muscles and our brain, and it's like fuel that powers our cells. When we don't have enough of it, we feel tired, our muscles get weak, our brain feels foggy, and inflammation starts to take over our bodies. But when we supplement with creatine, we're essentially giving our cells the energy they need to function properly again. The more I learned, the more excited I got. This wasn't some miracle cure or magic pill. This was a natural compound that our bodies already make and use, and all I'd be doing was making sure I had enough of it. Now, I want to take a moment to explain the science behind this, because understanding how creatine works really helped me commit to taking it every day. Don't worry, I'm going to keep this simple and easy to understand. Creatine works at the cellular level. Inside each of our cells, we have these tiny power plants called mitochondria. These mitochondria create energy in the form of something called ATP. Think of ATP as the battery that powers everything your body does, from moving your muscles to thinking clearly to fighting off inflammation. The problem is, as we get older, our cells don't make ATP as efficiently. We run out of power faster. That's why we feel more tired, why our muscles feel weaker, and why our brains don't work as sharply as they used to. Creatine helps our cells regenerate ATP faster and more efficiently. It's like upgrading from old rechargeable batteries to brand new ones. Suddenly, our muscles have more energy to work properly. Our brain has more fuel to think clearly, and our entire body has more resources to repair and heal itself. But here's what really excited me about the research I found. Study after study shows that creatine supplementation in older adults leads to significant improvements in muscle mass, strength, and physical function. One study found that people over 60 who took creatine while doing simple resistance training gained significantly more muscle and strength than those who didn't take creatine. Another study showed that creatine can improve cognitive function, especially memory and processing speed. For those of us worried about memory loss or dementia, this is huge. And here's the kicker. Research shows that creatine has powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Chronic inflammation is at the root of so many age-related diseases, from arthritis to heart disease to diabetes. By reducing inflammation, creatine helps protect our bodies from these conditions. I also learned that creatine can help with bone health, which is critical for us as we age. It may help improve bone density and reduce the risk of fractures and falls. The evidence was overwhelming. This wasn't just Margaret's personal experience. This was backed by hundreds of scientific studies, so I decided to give it a try. I started taking 5 grams of creatine monohydrate every single morning mixed into my coffee. Creatine monohydrate is the most studied form and the most affordable. You can find it at any health food store or online, and a container that lasts 3 months costs less than $30. Now, I want to be completely transparent with you about my experience because I think it's important to have realistic expectations. The first week, I didn't notice much of anything. I kept taking it because I'd read that it takes time to build up in your system. By the end of week 2, I noticed that I wasn't needing my afternoon nap anymore. I had more sustained energy throughout the day. Week 3 was when things really started to shift. I woke up one morning and realized my knees didn't hurt when I got out of bed.